Hi, welcome to my video on simplifying a rational expression, part 2. If possible, factor the numerator and or denominator and then cancel out the common factor. So we're going to simplify each of these. Notice we have an addition on top and bottom. That's the numerator and denominator, but we can't cancel because we can only cancel when we're have multiplication. So we have to factor out the 3 on the top. So 3 into 3x is x, 3 into 12 is 4. And so we have the numerator factored, the denominator is already done. Notice that x plus 4 is a common factor, so you cancel them out, 1, 1, and you get a 3. You can only cancel into multiplication. You cannot cancel when you're adding. B, factor the numerator. X is the GCF, so x squared divided by x is x. 4. Negative 4x divided by x is negative 4. The denominator has 7 as a GCF. 7 into 7x goes x. 28 divided by 7 is negative 4. And again, the x minus 4 is a common factor, so we cancel them out. And we get x over 7. C, we have to factor. There's no GCF, but I noticed that x squared is x being squared minus 3 being squared. So that's the difference of two squares. So it's x, 3, 3, plus, minus. And the denominator has x as common as a GCF. So x squared divided by x is x. Positive 3x divided by x is positive 3. And we have an x plus 3 on top and bottom, so we cancel them out. So we get x minus 3 over x. And notice we cannot cancel this x, these x's, because this is a subtraction. And the only way you can cancel is to have an x minus 3 down the bottom as a factor. D, now we have a trinomial which has a 1 coefficient. And when we have a 1 coefficient in a trinomial, if it's factorable, then we can do the double brackets. And if it's x squared, we automatically have an x times x. And the product is negative 2. The sum is negative 1. So the only factors of 2 are 2 and 1. So let's put the 2 and the 1 in. So if the product is negative, we have to have a plus and a minus. So we got a plus and a minus. Because the sum is negative 1, then we have to have a negative 2 plus 1. Multiply. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, which is its product. And the sum is negative 1. Perfect. And again, we have a 1 coefficient in front of the x squared. So that means, again, I have a double bracket. And the product is 1. So we have, again, let's go with an x and an x. The product is 1. The sum is 2. So the factors of 1 are 1 and 1. The product is positive and the sum is positive. It has to be 2 pluses. If the product is positive, you have to have 2 of this sign because that's the sum. And we have an x plus 1 common on top and bottom. Cancel them out. We get an x minus 2 over x plus 1. And again, you can't cancel your x's because you can only cancel in multiplication, not in addition. E, we can't do anything with 10x, is already simplified. The denominator has a 5 as a GCF, take the 5 out. So 5x divided by 5 is x, 15 divided by 5 is 3. And we have 5 into 5 goes once, 5 into 10 goes 2. So on top we have a 2x over x plus 3. And in F, we have to do a descending order. Notice they're not in descending order, so we go x squared plus 2x. The denominator has a negative x squared minus x plus 6. So notice when I'm rearranging these, I don't change the signs because I'm not transposing across an equal sign. Let's continue. And we notice we have a negative here, so let's let's remove that negative on the bottom. So I take the negative 1 out, put the negative out there. And when you take a negative out, negative divided by negative is positive. Negative divided by negative is a positive. And a positive divided by negative is a negative. In other words, taking the negative out, or negative 1 out, changes that negative, changes these two opposites, positive, positive, negative. Now we factor. X is a GCF in x squared plus 2x. So x squared divided by x is x. 2x divided by x is 2. And we have the negative there. So, and we have a 1 coefficient. So the product is negative 6. The sum is plus 1. So we have an x and an x. The factors of 6 are 6, 1 times 6, and 3 times 2. Which factors give me a 1? 6 and 1 won't do it, so it's 3 and 2. Now, the product is negative, so we have a plus and a minus. But because the sum is positive, that means the 3 is positive and the 2 is negative. Multiply, negative 6. Add these two, and you get plus 1. And what's common? And there's no, excuse me, no factors common, so it can't cancel. It can't simplify. Now I got to check to see if I made a mistake, because most times cancellation can occur. So that's okay. Yep. Rearrange, you got a negative and a negative and a positive. I took the negative out, plus, plus, minus. X plus 3x minus 2. And so that cannot factor. That's the final answer in the factored form, but we can't cancel. G, now this is a 3 is a G, not a GCF, so this one you got to go and do. So you go onto a sheet of scrap paper and work out this factoring. So this product is 3 times 5 is 15. The sum is 8. So the factors of 15 are 1 and 15, 3 and 5. So which pair of factors give you the 8? The 3 and the 5. So what we do, we go 3x squared plus 3x plus 5x plus 5. So we take these two factors and multiply to give you 15 and add to give you 8. And again, I stress, because the 3 is not a GCF, you have to multiply 3 by 5 to get the product. And we go with 2 and 2 by grouping. So 3x, x plus 1. And we got whatever that sign is right here, that's what goes there. So 5 is common. So 5x divided by 5 is x. 5 divided by 5 is 1. The two of these are the same. So x plus 1 is the binomial GCF. If you take x plus 1 out of this expression, you get a 3x. You take x plus 1 out of this expression, you get a plus 5. So this is x plus 1 times 3x plus 5. Again, this factorization is among the toughest to do, so you got to be careful. X squared minus 1 is the difference of two squares. X, 1, 1 plus minus. Notice that's a 1 squared. And the plus 1s are common factors, so we get 3x plus 5 over x minus 1. And let's do some more practice. If I can turn this page over. Now, practice means pause the video and work them out. Give you extra practice. And do one at a time. Here we go. I see an x as a GCF on the top, so it's an x minus 9. I see a 5 as a GCF on the bottom, so 5 into both of these gives me x minus 9. X minus 9 is a common factor. Cancel. So I get x over 5. Final answer. And we have a trinomial with a 1, so we'll go with double brackets. And x squared is x and x. Factors of 5 are 5 and 1. What's the factors of 5 to give you a 4? Well, 5 and 1, but because the product is negative, one of these is going to be plus and one is going to be a minus. So it's a plus 5 minus 1. Because when you add these two, plus 5 minus 1, you get a plus 4. And on the bottom, I have an x squared. I see a difference of 2 squares. So that's 5 being squared. So that's an x, 5, 5, plus, minus. And again, the x plus 5s are common. Cancel them out. So we get an x minus 1 over x minus 5. And we have the same here. We have a trinomial with a 1 coefficient. So we got double brackets. We got an x squared is x and x. The factors of 8 are 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. Which pair of factors give you 6? 2 and 4. So we put a 2 and a 4. The product is positive. So it's 2 pluses or 2 minuses. So the middle sign is negative. So it has to be the sum. It has to be 2 negatives. Multiply. Negative 2, negative 4, 8. Add. Negative 6. And again, this is a trinomial with a 1 coefficient for a. So we got double brackets. We got x and x. And the factors of 2. 2 is a product, so I got 2 and 1. And the product is negative, so I have a plus and a minus. But the larger sign is negative, so I got a negative 2 and a positive 1. Check. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Add. Negative 2 and 1 give me negative 1. So the negative 2's are common, so they cancel. So I get an x minus 4 over x plus 1. Number 4, 8x squared can't simplify. The denominator got a 2 and an x. That's a GCF. So 2x squared divided by 2x is x. 2x divided by 2x is plus 1. Notice you have to have 2 terms in here because there's 2 there. And what cancels? 2 goes into 8. So 2x divided into 8x squared. So 2 goes into 8 4 times. X, because when you divide expressions with the same base, we cancel the exponents. So x squared, that's a 1 and a 2. So they cancel to give me a 1. So I get a 4x all over x plus 1. Number 5, I can't cancel here. I have to factor, so I have, what's GCF 3? So take a 3 out, I get a 3x minus 2. I take out a x. X is the only common. 3 and 2 don't have anything common, only x. So 3x squared divided by x is 3x. And negative 2x divided by x is negative 2. 3x minus 2 is common, so scratch them out, cancel. I get 3 over x. Number 6, I have difference of 2 squares, so notice that's 2x being squared minus 1 squared. So it's a difference of 2 squares, so it's 2x plus minus, 1, then I go plus and a minus. And I have a negative in the front, so I take the negative out, and I'm also take the common factor of x. The GCF is x. Negative 2x squared divided by negative x is 2x. A positive x divided by negative x is negative 1. And I get a x minus 2x minus 1 on top and bottom, so they cancel. So I get 2x plus 1 over negative x, but I don't need the negative in the bottom, so the negative goes in the top. The negative never stays in the bottom. Or I could divide the negative and get a negative 2x minus 1 over x. Either the negative stays outside, or you can move it in through. Number 7, we have to factor. Again, notice the 7 is not a GCF, so here we go with that long one to do. The product of 7 times 2, 14. And the sum is in the middle, 15. So the factors of 14 are 1 and 14, 2 and 7. So what factors give you 15? 1 and 14 are the factors. So we go 7x plus 1x plus 14x plus 2. So we take these factors and make them, put them in the middle and put an X with them. So when you add these two, you get the 15. Now we have to do grouping. Underline, so 7x X comes out, not 7. 7 is not a GCF. X is a GCF, so I get a 7x plus 1. And right here, I get a positive 2 comes out, so I get a 7x plus 1. And 7x plus 1 comes out. 7x plus 1 is here twice, right there and there. So when you divide it or take it out, you get an x in the first one, and in the second one you get a plus 2. So I get 7x plus 1 and an x plus 2. Now, either or, whatever way you do it, if this is going to cancel or simplify, one of these two factors has to be down here. So we look at this and we say 49x squared minus 1. I see a difference of two squares. I see a 7x and a 7x. 1, 1, plus, minus. If you had it on the bottom first, which was the easier, you would have had these two. And again, if these two are here, one of these two has to be up here in order for it to simplify, because these are 7x plus 1, 7x minus 1 can only cancel out if the same factor's on the top. So that means one of these up here has to have a 7x. And they do. So watch out, when you do the factoring, you can see that, again, what's on the bottom, one of them has to be on the top and bottom to cancel out. Number 8, I got descending order, so I got a negative x squared plus 6x minus 9. The bottom is a descending order of a negative 2x squared plus 6x. I have to put it in descending order. Now, I take the negative out of the top. So when you take a negative out, the signs change. Positive, negative, and positive. I'm taking a negative out, but I'm taking a negative 2x out because that's the GCF. So that gives me x minus 3. And we continue. Notice this is understood to be a negative coming out. Really what you're taking out, that's a negative 1. So negative 1 changes. If you multiply negative 1 by these 3, you'll get that up there. So taking a negative out changes all the signs. And we have an x squared, which is x and x. And the factors of 9 to give me a 6 must be 3 and 3. Because the product is positive and the sum is negative, I got two negatives. And notice on the bottom here I had an x minus 3. That means it's possible x minus 3 going with the factorization of this trinomial. So the x minus 3's cancel out, and the negatives cancel out. And let's put the answer over here. So the negative over negative, so that's an x. Let's make that x minus 3. Don't need that bracket. And 2x. So the x's cancel out, become plus plus. So I get an x minus 3 over 2x. Number 9, factor. I have a 1 and a 1. So that becomes double bracket. X squared is x and x. The factors of 12 are 1, 12, 2, 6, 3, 4. What factors give me a 4? 12 and 1 can't give me a 4 because it gives me 13 or 11. 3 and 4 gives me a 7 or a 1. So it must be 6 and 2. The product is negative. That means I have a plus and a minus. But I need more pluses. So it's a plus 6 minus 2. And I have a 1 in front of the x squared on the bottom. So that means I have a double bracket again. And I have an x and an x. Remember, if it's going to simplify, one of these two factors here has to be down here. So that means 2. The only factors of 2 are 2 and 1. And since the product is positive 2, then I have to have two pluses or two minuses. So the middle one tells me I got two minuses. Why? When you multiply these two, you get a plus 2. When you add, you get a negative 3. The x minus 2's are common, so you cancel them out. So that gives me x plus 6 over x minus 1. And number 10, we have the factor. The GCF is a 6 and an x. 6x squared divided by 6x is x. Negative 18x divided by 6x is negative 3. And I have a 6, that's a GCF. 6x squared divided by 6 is x squared. And 54 divided by 6 is 9. And 6x, and if you notice, x squared minus 9 is the difference of two squares. So it's x and x. 9 is 3 times 3. And we have a minus negative product, so it's a positive and a negative. And we cancel. The x minus 3's cancel out. And the 6 cancels out. So we get 1 times x times 1 is x. And the 6 is gone, so we get an x plus 3 on the bottom. You cannot cancel these because you're adding. The only way you can cancel is to have an x plus 3 on the top, and we cannot cancel. So that's the review in simplifying rational expressions. Plenty of practice in factoring and canceling out. Remember, to simplify a rational expression, you have to have the same factors on top and bottom and cancel them out. If you like my video, click the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. And the content is the content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.